as an example for the rest of the group.
President William Ruto's visit to Western Kenya was intense and full of goodies and has elicited reactions across the political divide. From infrastructure projects, the emotive sugar sector, to the rolling out of affordable housing projects, the head of state left nothing to chance as he also outlined his scorecard. Now, the opposition, however, claims it is pure politics in early campaigns, even as Ruto's allies say he is a hands-on president with a new paradigm shift. As Alan Ochanda reports, the visit could also see Ruto's political fortunes in the region turn around in his favor.
Immediately he landed in Western Kenya, President William Ruto shot straight to the border county of Busia in Budalangi as his ground zero during his 5 days development tour, where he commissioned the Mulukoba fish landing site before proceeding to the Busia Referral Hospital, where he commissioned a surgical ward. Bungoma, that defied the Western region's political tide and voted for Ruto, was his second stopover. And with a decade-long wish list that has always evaded the national government, they made their case. Revival of Nzoia Sugar Company. Cumulatively, sugar millers owe the state a whopping 117 billion shillings, of which Nzoia owes 56 billion shillings.
Cabinet about 1 month ago, tuliondoa madeni yote, tumepeleka bunge. Na mheshimiwa spika na wabunge wetu wamenihakikishia ya kwamba watapitisha mapendekezo yetu ya kufutilia mbali madeni yote ya kampuni yenu hii ya Nzoia na kampuni zile zingine za taifa letu la Kenya.
So his aims and objective in this particular area is to overhaul the sugar sector, to come up with new ideas, to attract other shareholders and investors who would join both direct and indirect investment in the sugar subsector of agriculture. And that is where he is. And he has said, since sugar can employ thousands and thousands of Kenyans, he's not going to let it go. And that starts away from Soni in South Nyanza, Ache, Melili, Muhoroni, Nzoia, Mumias. The whole sugar subsector, he's serious about it.
His sentiments about Mumias sugar being resuscitated largely positively affects the farmers, because they are the people who have lost a lot of money. Some of them supplied sugarcane to the factory. They have not been paid to debt. So in effort to resuscitate Mumias sugar, we will find that the greatest beneficiaries are the sugarcane farmers who are residents of Mumias and the larger Western Kenya.
The opposition Azimio has, however, remained critical of the head of state, terming the commitments as rhetoric.
The decision to shut these factories for this period of 6 months is a very controversial decision. Stakeholders were not involved, and I can say that the visit was met with very high expectations, and there was serious and overwhelming reception in terms of what was expected and what was actually delivered.
The sugar sector has been riddled with misfortunes, a litany of court cases, which the head of state assured farmers will be addressed, wondering how and why private millers were on their feet while state-owned were limping. The counties of Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga and Bungoma have witnessed poor infrastructure.
All those projects that had stalled, which were put in place by the government of President Uhuru, and some didn't take off. He has allocated funds for them to take off, and he's serious that he will be coming back to make sure that those projects have taken off. And indeed, if they are completed, the face of Western Kenya will be a different face. And that is the leadership people want.
The president was in Central Kenya. He gave them goodies in excess of almost 300 billion. Tangible projects we could see. Okay? But now when it comes to us, the president comes to launch county assembly building that was built long ago.
For the 5 days, he breathed life into the rather sleepy state lodge in Kakamega, where he hosted several delegations and even the first ever cabinet meeting at the state lodge. This, the opposition says, is pure politics and early campaigns meant to hoodwink residents.
By him coming to the villages, even the other leaders who are in opposition, you saw them in Kakamega, you have seen them all over where we have been going for meetings, they have been going with us. So this one shows that at least people are seeing what the president is doing. And he himself, he's a hands-on man. He's ready to move all over to see the challenges that are in the villages and the counties, and he's trying to solve them. So to us, it's not early campaign, but he's doing his work.
President Ruto has never been a person who sits in the office, right from when he was the deputy president. President Ruto is in management, if I recall what I studied, it's called management by wandering about, or mbwa. President Ruto is not somebody who sits in the office. President Ruto enjoys when he meets people. So he wants to get to the people, one, to say thank you. That's why he came to church, started with church, because he wants to thank God for the victory that he got and Kenya Kwanza got.
Political undertones, however, became loud, and the president did not hesitate to dangle the bait to opposition-leaning leaders.
Mnataka mimi nifanye kazi na huyu Wangwe? Tufanye kazi na yeye? So tafadhali Wangwe, my friend Emmanuel. Wananchi wamesema wachana kitendawili, maandamano wachana naye, fujo wachana naye, tukuje tufanye kazi.
Mimi nataka kuhakikishia kwamba we are going to work together to support the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Kwa sababu inatilia mkazo sana mambo ya ugatuzi na pale mwananchi wa pale chini. Na kwa sababu sisi tunataka maendeleo, we want to assure you this time round we are going to support your leadership.
I think it was more political than anything, because what they were talking about the talks, the bipartisan talks. They are talking about 2027 and why the region should not support Azimio, because this is a region that was covered by the blue wave, but they want to turn the region yellow through promises. So really it was more politics than development.
Residents of Western Kenya too wading into the head of state's visit.
Yeye kukuja hapa sioni kama ilikuwa ni siasa. Rais alikuwa anasema kitu anajua, alituagiza wakati wenye alikuwa anaomba kura. Akasema ya kwamba tumweke kwa kiti, atatutendea maneno ambayo yamedidimia hayatendeki. Na kweli akakuja Western akasema ya kwamba atakuja atafungua viwanda ambazo vimelala, na kweli mipangilio yake venye iko tumeona. Hata juzi nimepita huko Mumias, nimeona watu wameanza kupanda miwa kuashiria ya kwamba mashini ya Mumias inaenda kufunguliwa.
Unajua yeye anataka route 2027. Na vile alikuja hapa na akasema hizi project zote akaiti watu wa Kakamega. Nafikiria around 70% atafanya.
The president is expected back to Western Kenya in the next 2 months to check on the progress of the projects he commissioned.
Even though the opposition Azimio have poured cold water on President William Ruto's modus operandi of camping in the regions for development, fashioning it as early campaigns, the head of state has stayed put, saying long gone are the days when the head of state will lead Kenyans from the country's capital, Nairobi, saying he will continue taking development to the grassroots in tandem with his bottom-up economic model. Alan Ochanda, KTN News.
Another break, but when we come back, the government's deliberate